Would you like to know how to get closure from a narcissist? Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you the top 10 ways that have worked both for myself, because I married 2 of them, and my clients. And the first one is really straightforward. To recognize you will never, ever, ever, ever get closure. And it's simple. They won't give it to you because they want to keep you on the line. They want you hooked. And so all the questions and all the things that don't make sense and the confusion, and you just want to, just sit down and have a conversation. Why'd you do this? Or why were you thinking and feeling this way? That'll never happen. And that's one of the most difficult things. It makes us so powerless to recognize we will never get an answer to this. And so that is the first step. We have to recognize we will not get closure, and therefore, the only way we can get closure is within inside ourselves. And so you're going to see a lot of these will help you do that. Number 2, to get that closure, here's one of those, is to stop obsessing. And what I mean by this is get rid of everything. Pictures, videos, mementos, any type of reminder about them at all need to be thrown away and discarded. The other thing, this was key for me. When I kept trying to figure that, especially my second one out, the obsessive thoughts. And this saved my life, and I now teach it to my clients, is the second you start thinking about any aspect of the relationship, focus on anything you can see, like chair, speaker, lamp, coaster, coffee table, rug, tile. Do not allow any thought of them to come into your mind. You have to make the choice to stop, because every time we think about them, we are in the relationship. We haven't left. And we have to choose to leave the relationship. All right, and that leads to number 3. Resist the temptation to obsessively learn about narcissism. And this is where I disagree from most experts in narcissism. They will tell you that part of the closure process is to go become an expert in narcissism. I think that's critical and valuable, but not till way at the end. There are several steps that need to be dealt with before you do that, because in the beginning, if you go obsessively learn about narcissism, you're going to be every tidbit of information you get, you're going to be comparing that to your narcissist. You're going to be stuck in the relationship going, oh my God, they did that, and they did that, and they did, and oh, is it this? Well, maybe they're this kind of narcissist, or that kind of, oh, they did that too. How could you have closure? The toxicity level is way too high. And so I haven't seen people when they're teaching about this dynamic. I've seen them say, and I'm a big proponent, go become an expert in everything, but not in this dynamic, not in the beginning, because you will lose yourself and stay stuck within the narcissistic's web if you're learning all about narcissism. Don't do it yet. It has to be way, way at the end, really after the last step. Okay, so resist the temptation to become an expert in how narcissism works in the beginning. It has to be way at the end. All right. Number 4, this I had to figure out too. Pay attention to what you watch on TV and the music you listen to. Here's an example. It finally dawned on me one day. I used to be fascinated by shows like American Greed. Well, what is American Greed? It's all narcissistic sociopaths. You're watching these people and go, oh my God, how did these people get ripped off? It's so obvious, or it wasn't obvious, or most of it was, how could somebody do that to somebody else? That's just so evil. Especially the high profile people that you watch videos and you're watching them and you're trying to figure them out. You're trying to sense, would I have been suckered by them? Well, do you see, it hit me one day, oh my God, I'm still stuck. I'm still obsessing about the narcissist. I don't have closure. I'm reliving it by proxy. I'm focused, yes, I'm not thinking about my narcissist, but I'm still trying to figure out the narcissist. That means I'm still under their control. My music, it was that way. It was very victim oriented, very sad, and poor me, and morose, and all of that. I got rid of all of it. For a very long period, I watched really silly shows. What's that one? The three guys, they're all scientists. And there's that cute blonde girl who's, and I can't remember the name of it, but the writing was just very good, but it just made me laugh. And there's no narcissism in it, nothing like that. It's just silly, superficial stuff. And so that's what I went toward. Comedy shows, anything that would make me laugh, anything that would not put me in the position of trying to figure out a narcissist. Number 5, this I call the 90-10 rule. You're in a relationship with a narcissist because 90% of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are focused on the narcissist, 10% on you. That dynamic has to flip. That's part of the problem with people that end up with narcissists. They're severely codependent, and 90% of their life is about the narcissist. And so we have to learn to love and care for ourselves. So flip it. 90% of your life has to be dedicated to healing, loving, and recovering yourself, building up your self-love, your self-esteem, doing the recovery work, instead of all of the other previous time that you spent making it all about them. So when you watch these videos, don't comment about them. Comment about you. Don't mention them in any of your comments or anything like that. Just mention how you're progressing on your journey. Make everything about you. Quit talking about the narcissist, okay? Number 6, work the grief process. The 5 stages of grief are basically shock, denial, anger, bargaining, and this is where most people, that's the obsessive, where they're trying to figure everything out. Then comes sadness and depression before acceptance. This is why I brought up the first several points, is most people get stuck in the bargaining and anger. They're furious, hate them, reliving, telling everyone how awful they are, commenting on posts, trying to figure them out. That's the bargaining place, shock and denial, wanting closure. Everyone keeps ruminating in the first 3 stages to avoid number 4, the pain, the sadness. And ultimately, the sadness that was there before the narcissist that they never healed. That's ultimately what every person who's been in a relationship with a narcissist is avoiding. They pick the narcissist because of that underlying pain. And that leads me to number 7. The biggest struggle for someone who can't find closure is they can't take responsibility for their part. So please don't buy into the false messaging that most teachers tell you that the only person who's a problem, the only person who deserves responsibility is the narcissist. I do agree they are to blame. That I agree with. We as people attracted to narcissists are not to blame, but we are responsible. And sadly, many teachers just go, oh, the narcissist is a jerk. He or she is the problem. You're great. That's what keeps people stuck in the first 3 stages of grief, and they never get to number 4. All right? We cannot forgive them until we forgive ourselves for choosing this person. We can never divorce ourselves from the responsibility that we allowed this person into our life. It didn't just magically happen. We didn't wave a wand and poof, there was a narcissist. No, we chose them. Out of the millions of people that we can date or marry, we picked this one. There's no magic fairy dust. We have to take responsibility for that. And that is the piece I see the most, is people, here's how you know you haven't worked through the grief process and you don't have closure. You still blame, have anger, hatred, and point everything at the narcissist. If you're doing that, you are stuck in the first 3 stages of a grief. You are using that to avoid the depression and acceptance, to stay in the victim role, because underneath that, and many people, when I bring this up, think I'm blaming the victim. No, I'm not. I'm actually empowering the victim. Because what they don't realize is they went through severe childhood trauma. That's why they're attracted to this, and they never dealt with it. And I'm advocating, unless you find that, admit it, and face it, you will never get closure with a narcissist. And so that's the problem. When people don't point this out, they are condemning the person to purgatory and a life of misery by never giving them the proper information, the knowledge, skills, and tools that it is our own pain that played a part. We're not fully responsible, we're not to blame, but we do have a responsibility that our unhealed pain created our attraction, and unless we face that, take responsibility, we will pick a narcissist or a toxic relationship again. That must be addressed. I am empowering them. So if you are stuck where you hate, judge, blame, criticize the narcissist, what that means is you haven't forgiven yourself. And that's what comes from stage 4 and stage 5. When we hit the sadness and depression, we accept our pain. We work through it. We grieve it. That allows us acceptance, and now I can forgive you. And then we can see, my God, the narcissist was actually the key to my healing, my underlying pain that made me susceptible to their games. What a gift. Now I can forgive you because I've forgiven me. I recognize I had no shot. My childhood trauma primed me for it. My God, I never knew that. That's empowerment. That's real closure. That shows me, oh my God, I can change this. When we don't confront that, anyone teaching not to confront that is teaching people to stay stuck in a life of purgatory. They're not helping them. They're enabling them and creating further victims by not pointing that out. Okay? That moves us to number 8. Get help for your codependency. Any person who's with a narcissist is codependent. One of the core symptoms of codependence is immaturity. Well, immaturity looks like the inability to take responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and actions. And so, again, many teachers are promoting a person stay stuck in their codependency, placing all the responsibility on the narcissist. A child doesn't take responsibility for their actions. They just say, well, I don't know, the cookie just fell out of the cookie jar, Mom. I don't know where it went. And that's, in essence, when we don't address our underlying codependence and we continue to place the blame at the narcissist's feet, we are staying stuck in our codependence. We are staying stuck blaming them, and that doesn't help any of us. Now, this was what confused me, and I've seen this confuse many of my clients, is because the narcissist is so gifted at creating moments that are magical and filled with everything we ever wanted and potential, that can be very hard to get closure on and let go of, because some of those memories are so magical. They're the fantasy we always had. And this is how I finally reconciled it, because what I couldn't get closure on was it real or fake? It was a very black and white perspective, all or nothing. Either some of it was, loving, like that it was love, but manipulative love, or none of it was. Oh my God. Well, that's really devastating. Either one of those is very devastating. And here's how I reconciled it to free myself. And I created this quote: I can love the memories, but no longer love the person. Do you see, I can hold on to that memory of, God, did I feel loved in that moment? And it doesn't matter if it was real or not. I know that I felt tremendous. And I'm not going to take that feeling from me. Those were beautiful moments in my life where I felt incredibly special and cared for. And man, isn't that what we all want? So I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to love the moment. But I no longer have to love the person. That gave me the separation. That was the final piece for me to separate. Was that when I could reconcile that piece, that's how I created closure within myself. And that quote I've seen do the exact same thing for all my clients. Number 10, to get closure, we need to learn about the worst day cycle. Well, many of you don't know what the worst day cycle is. It's something I discovered and wrote about in my book, Your Journey to Success. And the basic premise is this. The worst day cycle is responsible for every single individual's pain in their life, whether it's work, finances, doesn't matter what it is. I scientifically prove it, that any aspect of your life is created by this worst day cycle, and this crosses everybody, low income, high income, every person on the planet. I can sit with anyone, walk them through and show them how, even if you're really successful and you think your life is great, you're reliving your worst day cycle. Nobody's immune from it. And what's going on during that cycle is it's a maladaptive, addictive, self-victimizing emotional process that our species has created in response to childhood trauma that we've all experienced. Now, most people say, I haven't experienced childhood trauma. Well, let me bring you into reality. I'll ask you one simple question. Do you have any secret from your parents? Anything at all? Anything you believe, anything you've said or done? We all do. Well, do you see what that means? If my parents knew who I really was, they'd reject me. That's trauma. The two people that I should feel the safest with, I can't share my authenticity with. Everyone on this planet has those secrets. That proves all of us have experienced horrific trauma. Think of that. I can't share authentically with my parents who I really am. That is a horrifically traumatic understanding. And we all have that understanding, all right? So because of the societal lack of knowledge, skills, and tools in these areas of parenting, trauma, and emotional mastery, no individual is immune from this process. And so by understanding the worst day cycle, we remove the mystery of the narcissist. We remove the mystery of relationships. We remove the mystery and confusion about life itself. Like literally, after you read my book, every decision you've ever made, you go, oh my God, now I see it. It all ties back to this trauma. Everything. You'll make the connection. It removes all confusion of life and makes it simple to understand why we do what we do and why we become what we become in every aspect of our life. So by having this understanding and moving through the process of recovery that I lay out, we all have a roadmap to achieve what we want. So if you want to learn more about that, I give out free chapters to that book on my online magazine site, www.thegreatnessuniversity.com. You can go get a free either Audible or a free chapter of the Audible or the printed PDF that you can, I'm not asking you to pay for it, just go. See if it intrigues you and see if it's something you want to pursue. I guarantee you, once you read it, go, and if you do the work, you'll see it. Oh my God, every choice I've ever made is all based on my trauma. And until I heal it, I'm stuck. And we all are, okay? So that should help you understand and the process to get closure from a narcissist. Now, if you'd like to learn more, again, go to my online magazine site, www.thegreatnessuniversity.com. I have videos, articles, free downloads and exercises. It's a wealth of information, all free resources to get you help and heal and recover in whatever area of life you're struggling with. If you want to go deeper, it tells you all about my master classes, other things. But if you just want free stuff, it's all there, tons of it, to help you with these dynamics. So maybe you'd like to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. All right, so I hope that helped you. If it did, please like it. If you know somebody who doesn't have closure in any type of relationship, these tips will help them. They all apply, regardless if it's a narcissist. Please share it. And as I always say, enjoy the journey.